Welcome to the Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm John Reisinger.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
You might not have known it from the limited amount of fanfare, but Titanfall 2 is actually out today. And what better way to celebrate your launch than a bunch of video game analysts announcing that it's going to fail?
That sucks. According to a just released report from a video game research firm, Titanfall 2 is going to be falling pretty hard just because it's got it in the name. And it's all EA's fault.
Ouch. So between this and the Hella Games fiasco, which you heard about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Good
Developers
times.
have had kind of a rough time today. This launch day doom is brought to you by research firm Cohen & Company, who've released some brand new projections about both Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1.
Okay, in case we haven't already foreshadowed it enough, those projections were extra bad for Titanfall 2, with the company predicting the game's sales to be substantially disappointing.
That's like way more than
Those are
regular
not good
disappointing.
words.
Nope. In their updated projections, Cohen & Company downgraded their Titanfall 2 sales estimates to the 5 to 6 million range from their original projection of 9 million, which I believe is close to where the first game was.
Oh, that's a bummer. For the record, the original game moved about 10 million units.
Okay, so close.
And was out on less platforms than Titanfall 2.
Fewer platforms.
Yeah, that's actually correct. Get wrecked, Eddie. So doing about half of that wouldn't be so great for the folks at EA and Respawn.
In addition to lowering the projected sales numbers of Titanfall 2, the research firm has also increased their projections for Battlefield 1, bumping their estimates from 14 million to 16.5 million copies. So I guess we know where half of Titanfall sales are going.
It sucks. Part of that has to do with Battlefield's already enormous launch. By all accounts, the game sold more in its first few days at retail than Battlefield 4 and Hardline did in their entire first week.
Combined.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I'm just going to say yeah. And given those updated estimates, that would make Battlefield 1 even bigger than last year's Star Wars Battlefront, which shipped through 14 million units.
So if you're thinking that this was all part of EA's grand strategy and that between the huge success of Battlefield 1 and the middling success of Titanfall 2, they'd come out completely ahead, no, think again. According to Cohen & Company's report, Titanfall 2 is going to do so poorly, it may offset Battlefield 1's amazing performance and bring the whole company down.
It's like a giant robot grabbing you and just sinking
like
down to the bottom of the ocean.
pulling you into the ground.
Yeah, while you're trying to fight World War I.
No!
The report makes that point while also throwing a little bit of shade at EA, stating, "We think the game got squeezed between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. We suspect EA believed that by launching two shooters next to Call of Duty, it could put a large dent in its biggest competitor, but instead, EA appears to have wound up shooting its own foot off."
Wow, who knew video game analysts could be so savage? They're practically internet commenters.
They're so sassy. They're just so sassy.
or sassy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is there a way to get an estimate of just how Titanfall 2 is selling so far? Because it's not on Steam, we don't have much of a way to get any of the game's concurrent players on its first day.
Yeah, we just have, it's not like Origins sharing its numbers.
Sick burn to Origins.
Hey.
Just all the shades being thrown out. However, one of the few tools we do have at our disposal is to look at Titanfall 2's pre-order data.
And according to VG Charts, Titanfall 2 hasn't been doing so well in that department. As of earlier this month, Titanfall 2 for Xbox One and PS4 were the 26th and 38th ranked pre-orders, respectively, behind games like Gran Turismo Sport, which doesn't even have a release date for crying out loud, and Corpse Party Back to School Edition for the 3DS. Which Caden's really excited about.
He should not be. If you think being all the way down in the 26th and 38th spots for pre-order in the final weeks before launch is bad, that's actually the highest it's been in the past several months.
Oh, that just makes it worse.
This is so much bad news in this. When you look at the rankings for August, July, and June, Titanfall has never made it into the top 40 most pre-ordered games, which just doesn't bode well.
Nope. In fact, VG Charts reports the pre-order totals so far at 28,869 for Xbox One and 20,461 for PS4. Of course, that's not factoring in digital versions at all, which would be missing pretty much all PC pre-orders, and the way digital is growing, a significant chunk for that as well for console.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's worth noting that VG Charts is mainly using estimates based on retailer data, not real numbers, but these charts still give us an idea of scale relative to how these titles are doing versus everything else. So regardless if the number is accurate or not, it still reflects that the market is simply much more interested in just about every other game imaginable over Titanfall 2.
I mean, I have to say that part of it's the marketing, though. You haven't seen a lot about Titanfall 2 outside of, well, the trailer or two.
I have to agree. I feel like Battlefield was really just shoved in my face everywhere I went online and TV and stuff, and Titanfall was just kind of like, oh yeah, Titanfall's coming out. I forgot.
Oh yeah, that one. So from the outside, releasing a shooter to a franchise that isn't viewed in any particularly positive light, right in the middle of two of the industry's biggest giants, I mean, it seems pretty obvious as a bonehead move, but for whatever reason, EA didn't think so because they released it.
Yeah, back in May, the excuse they used for launching both games so close together was that...
excuse.
Yeah,
Explain
now it's an
yourself.
excuse. It was a strategy, now it's an excuse. Together was that different shooters cater to different types of fans. However, they might have had some sort of idea that it wouldn't perform as well on the shelves, which might have been why they removed it from EA's early access program.
Also, though, not a great sign.
Yeah.
For its part, Respawn seems to have had nothing to do with the decision. In a brand new interview with PlayStation Lifestyle, Respawn producer Drew McCoy claims he actually has no idea where the release date came from. It was just there one day.
Sure. McCoy told PlayStation Lifestyle, I actually don't know where the decision came from. I just know it was locked in a long time ago and there was no changing it. I'm not really worried about it. We tried not to worry really. When you care about what other games are doing, when they're releasing, you worry.
McCoy went on to say, at the end of the day, we're releasing a game that we're happy with and we enjoy playing, that we're proud of. As long as we're doing that, I think we're gonna find an audience. It doesn't really matter when it comes out. A good game gets noticed. Of course, helps if you market it.
Yeah, that's also a good thing to do. And there are a lot of games who would beg to differ with you on that point, McCoy, like Psychonauts, Okami, Beyond Good and Evil, and that list just really goes on and on.
Oh, that list just got out my heart. While Titanfall 2 is getting good reviews so far, it's holding in the high 80s on Metacritic. We know all too well that good reviews don't always equal good sales. Look at all those other games, for instance.
Yeah.
Oh, Kami. Gamers only have so much money, and the holiday season, tough time to gamble with release dates. Something similar happened last year when Rise of the Tomb Raider got buried by releasing the same day as Fallout 4.
I remember that.
That was also a bad choice. Everyone was going, how would you do that?
Oh yeah, Laura, I forgot about her. I'm gonna go back to Fallout and do stuff in there. It'll be interesting to see if these numbers hold true to what market analysts are expecting or if those projections change again once Call of Duty Infinite Warfare releases. It could be that some gamers are waiting to decide between Titanfall 2 and Infinite Warfare, as the games do share some overlap in terms of appeal.
They're both space!
Yeah.
We'll just have to see if those trailer dislikes for Infinite Warfare do turn into actual sales losses, or if all the mainstream people who buy Call of Duty don't give a shit about YouTube dislikes, or if Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 manage to pick those up, where they go, well, we'll see.
Yeah, what do you guys think of analysts announcing that Titanfall 2 is going to fail right out of the gate? Please, let us know in the comments.
And for future updates on the opening war between Battlefield, Titanfall, of Call of Duty, and all its future developments, like this video and subscribe to The Know.
Hey John, do you know what time it is?
It's like 4:30 in the afternoon or something like that.
It's high noon.
That's not high noon. I don't have my ult yet.
For John, it's always high noon.
It's also fucking hot. How does he fight in this poncho if they're not in like tundra or something?